All right. So, first of all, test wise, you guys completed the test. It was due as of the beginning of class today, so that should have been completed. Um, I think I put the grades in already so you can see where you stand. When we get to the last 20 minutes of class, I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to ask questions about specific things on the test. Tomorrow is test B. Test B goes from 7:45 in the morning until midnight tomorrow. The test will be open, so that'll be your opportunity for the retake. Um, some of you are really going to need that retake either because you did poorly or you didn't take test A. So that means test B will be your only opportunity. But you need to make sure you do that. Quarter ends Friday, semester ends Friday. This is your last opportunity to get these last couple grades in and bring them up. Okay. Um, so speaking of what we're going to be working on the remainder of the week, we got the test tomorrow, and then we've got a Unit 5 project. Now, it sounds a lot more daunting than it really is. This project is the time we're expecting you to work on it is somewhere between 1 and 3 hours, probably closer to like 2 to 3 hours. Um, and what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to go over what's expected with our Unit 5 project. Okay, so under week 17, the second item there is the Unit 5 project. I do right in here, you must decide what you're doing by the end of class today. I'll give you guys till Wednesday to get it to me, but you need to email me. My email link is right there. Email me which option you're picking for your project. Um, the project is officially due by the end of class on Friday. So you'll have all the way till the end of class, and you'll be given some class time to work on it, basically all day Thursday and Friday to work on the project. So you guys should have time to get it done. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and click on the. Well, I've already got it open right here, but this is when you click on that, it'll open up this document which says Unit 5 mini project. What we're doing is we're doing a little project that's focusing on math concepts in Unit 5, similarity, which is ratio and proportion, and the geometric transformations, translation, rotation, reflection, and dilation. Okay. There are 5 options for projects that we're presenting to you, but if you've got something a little bit different that you're curious if you can do, ask. Okay. I don't, I haven't had anybody ask for a different one yet, but if you think of one that you say, I'd really like to do something like this, can I do that? Ask, and I may say yes. Okay, so let's go through each of these 5 options. Option 1, exploring and creating a tessellation, which is kind of the use of art and technology. So the first part of this is explore what a tessellation is by Googling it. Now, if you're not sure what a tessellation is, you know what? I had the tessellation pictures up here a second ago. I'm going to pull them back up again. All right. So a tessellation is, right? It is something that's put on a plane and it extends forever in all directions. Okay. So it's artwork that can be repeated different ways. So, and a lot of these images that are up here are actually made by students. But the way it works is you have a pattern, and the pattern can either be, it can use one of our transformations, either like a translation. This one's using translations and rotations. Here's one that uses rotations and reflections. There's a bunch of different ones here. Here's a pretty simple one that a student made. That it's a cat face that's just translated up and left and right. Okay. This one right here is made by a really famous artist that we're going to talk about in a second. But this one's reflections and translations. So that's just what a tessellation is, just so you guys can see that. But again, the first part would be exploring what they are. And then what you're going to do is you're going to create your own. Now, there are lots of different ways to do this. There's a link, and you guys have access to this document. There's a tessellation instruction link that you could do it on paper. There's also, if you were to Google like tessellation in Turtle Academy or Google Drawings or GeoGebra, there's actually ways to create tessellations within these 3 online platforms. Okay. Now you're going to create your own. Once you decide how you're going to make it, all right, You're going to go ahead and you're going to make your tessellation. You're either going to submit a picture of your creation or a link to it. Okay, a picture or a link. That'll be part of your submission for your project. After you've made it, you're going to describe your mathematical process and creative journey either in a short write-up, so a minimum of 250 words, which is not very many. So probably somewhere in the 250 to 500 words. Or you could make a 2-minute Flipgrid video, which 2-minute Flipgrid video, which is just the same information you'd have in the write-up. Okay, so there's two different platforms to do this. I'm going to talk about the specifics, what needs to be in the write-up or the video at the end, because almost all of these options include the 250-word write-up or the Flipgrid video. Option 2, designing a scale model. So in this case, there's actually quite a few students have picked these options. You can either do a 2D or a 3D model, all right? But you need to, if you do a 3D model, it's something that you need to be able to look all the way around it, okay? If it's a 2D model, that could be like somebody's doing like they're not, but you could do like the Empire State Building. You could make that a 2D model by just doing like looking at it from the side, all right? You could also do that as a 3D model because it is a three-dimensional figure, and you could make it so it's three-dimensional and you could walk all the way around it, all right? So there are some students doing 2D and some students doing 3D. The nice thing with these is there are options to do these. You could do them with technology or an online web app, but it's probably better for you to do these on paper or with a 3D model to use like cardboard or something else that can model it. You do need to know what the real world measurements are. So if you're doing like the blueprint of your house or your bedroom, you will need to know what the actual measurements are of your bedroom so that you can use a scale factor to scale it down to your diagram, okay? Or if it's a 3D model, what your actual measurements are so you can scale it down to what your three-dimensional figure is. Once you decide on the kind of model, you can do it. Same idea then. You got to do your write-up, 250 words minimum, or your Flipgrid video. Option 3, researching and presenting. So in this one, you've got 3 options for research. You could research an artist. So the one artist I showed you that tessellation of, that was MC Usher. You could do an artist that focuses somewhat on geometric creations, whether it's transformations, dilations, similar figures. There's actually a lot of different artists that use this, but that's one thing you could use is the geometric artist for your research and presenting. You could also do a history of similarity and or transformation. So you could pick one, like do the history of similarity or the history of transformations. With that history, it's pretty open-ended. You could do a real-world history, like how this is used in the real world, or with architecture, or with cultures. You could do it with science. You could do it with nature. So pretty open-ended as long as you're talking about the history of similarity and or transformations. Or you could pick another topic. Just make sure you run that other topic by me before you dive into it. Okay. With this option, you've got to do a Google slide presentation sharing what you've learned and discovered. All right. Now, there is no 250 word minimum paper or Flipgrid video because for this one, you've got to use Screencastify to record a brief video of the slides. Basically, it's you presenting the slides because the slides can show some information, but I want to make sure you guys have a good understanding of what you're putting on the slides. Okay, so it's going to be the same requirements that we'd have if we were doing the Flipgrid video. It's going to be something where you can look at it and you can determine where we can look at it, we can determine if you've gathered all the information that's required. Okay. Option number 4, I like this one. There's actually a handful of people doing this. Writing and illustrating a story. So you can decide if you want to create a children's storybook or a comic strip. All right. Then you decide what math you would like to incorporate into your literature. It can either be similarity, transformations, or both. It doesn't have to be all of them, but one or the other or both. Then choose how you'll create your story. You're either going to do it on paper, all right, or you can do it digitally, like in Google Docs or Slides or some other platform. You'll either need to share your photos of your work from your paper or the digital copy, so through a link, all right. It does not have to be I'm trying to think. The topic doesn't have to be like math related. You don't have to be like a math teacher doing math problems with a student. You could make it very creative. It's very open ended as long as you are using these topics in some capacity, either in the story or as part of the background within the story. All right. Um, this with this option though, you will need to do the 250 word minimum write up or the Flipgrid video. And number 5, writing and performing a song about similarity and transformations. There is one person that has picked this one. If music's your thing, all right, for this option, you will write and perform your song. Decide what math you would like to incorporate into your song. You'll submit the lyrics for your song and a video of you performing it. All right. You will need to do the minimum 250 word write up or a Flipgrid video with this option. Let's talk about what's expected in the Flipgrid video, the Screencastify of your presentation, or the write-up, okay? So there are 3 sections, and you get anywhere from 0 to 10 points in these 3 sections. So your total project is going to be 30 points. That's actually going to be added onto your test and quiz grade. So project includes a submission of appropriate materials, photos of work. So your final product. You're going to submit your final product, and as long as you've adhered to everything and you gave us a finished product, you'll probably get in this 8 to 10 point range. All right. If it's something that looks like it's done very quickly, not done with much care, or just not complete, then you'll be in that 1 to 7 point range. If you don't turn it in, you're going to get 0. The second part, write up or Flipgrid, includes explanation of math used. So you've got to explain if you're using similarity, transformations, basically what concepts did you choose and how did you use this math throughout your project. So basically, why did you pick this and how did you use it? I don't want a list of I use similarity and reflections. All right, that's not enough information. You need to explain why you picked that and how it's being used within your project. Okay, so again, could be anywhere from 0 to 10, depending on how much and how thoroughly you use that. The last thing, write up or Flipgrid, includes the following reflections. What did you like or dislike? What was easy or hard? And any other reflection thoughts about the experience. So we need your opinion about the project, okay? What did you like or dislike about not just the project, but the topic you picked? Was it easy or hard? Basically, what were the easiest and hardest parts about the project? And then if you got any other thoughts that would help, that would be good. Okay, so this covers all of the project options. Now, I have here on Google Classroom, as I mentioned in the beginning, I'd like you to decide and email me your decision. And you can even say in the email, just geometry project, and then I'm picking option 2, or I'm picking option 1. The one thing I would like is if it's a topic related thing within the options, then tell me, like, I'm picking option 4, writing a comic, something like that. Or when you're doing the research, I'm doing option 3 over this specific artist. Okay, I think that'd be a good help. But again, the email, I'd like you guys to have that email sent to me by Wednesday night. Okay, so I'll give you guys an extra day. I wanted to have it by today, but I'll give you an extra day on that.